Now, to finish off your meal, you need to drink coffee. So hi, I'm Mike McClure. I'm here to teach you about roasting coffee. It's my passion, and I want to share with you some of the basics and show you that it's not as hard as what you think. But first, a little background about coffee itself. Where does it grow? It grows mostly in the equatorial regions of the world. In this map, the light green is for Arabica beans, the sweet beans, and the darker map is for the Robusta beans, used mostly for caffeine in bulk. Now, it grows as a cherry on the end of branches. It's quite sweet with a bitter edge. When it's ripe, it's picked quite a lot by hand, but there are some places where they've got great big machines that do all the harvesting for you. And once it's been harvested, it's washed through lots of machinery to separate the fruit from the actual beans themselves. Then they're spread out on large patios to dry in the sun, where they'll then be bagged and shipped around the world, and they'll last for up to about 2 years. You can get your own green beans through online retailers like Sweet & Reader's, or it's well worthwhile to find your local roasters, because then you can get whatever samples they've got left behind, and occasionally they're happy to sell you their own beans. Ethical coffee is a difficult question, and I highlight ethicalcoffee.net as a good place to go for research. I go for shade-grown and organic for sustainability, but personally I look for direct trade or cup of excellence, because these are programs that mean more of the actual money goes to the farmers themselves. And Cup of Excellence is a competitive competition to get that label. So why would you roast your own beans? For me, I wanted to master a skill or an art, and it was quite challenging. And at the end of the day, you end up with a coffee that you really quite enjoy, because it's suited just to you. The coffee itself is pretty easy. You just need the green beans, a source of heat, and something to stir them around so that they roast evenly. There are, however, several cautionary notes. It will release a lot of smoke. I'm serious about that. And if you don't have the right equipment set up, it will blow chaff everywhere, and you might get kicked out of the kitchen like I was. Yeah, so outdoors is probably the best way to go. Now, there's several ways to go. You can buy a commercial device like this one. There are many on the market. I didn't, because they cost about $500, and I thought it was kind of cheating. I didn't get to learn all the ins and outs myself. I started with a wok, or you could quite easily use a skillet, which is a very traditional way of making coffee. But 20 minutes of doing this with a whisk was not my thing. So I moved to a different device, and I grabbed a popcorn maker. It's true. It roasts very small batches, and you can go through quite a lot very quickly and find out what you're doing wrong and what sets off the smoke detector. But it roasted very quickly, so I moved to my own setup, which was a heat gun, a tripod, and a vegetable steamer. It was a bit fragile, but it was a very good result out of that. I encourage you to experiment yourselves. And when you're roasting coffee, you have to look and listen. You look for the different colours as it progresses along the chain, and you listen. The first crack is a pop, the second crack is a sizzle, and then your house burns down. The very first stages that you can consider it roasted is called city roast or a light roast. It's very sweet, and a lot of the origin flavour comes through, so the different varietals taste very differently. This is where I like to drink my coffee. If you cook it a bit longer, it gets darker and the oils start to seep out. Then it picks up a bitter taste, and for those of you who like the really strong coffee that kicks you in the pants, this is what you're having. It's an Italian roast or a French roast. And how do you know you've done it right? Well, when you look at it, it'll all be roasted fairly evenly coloured, and when you grind it, it will be very evenly, there won't be very many white spots. And most importantly, it won't taste like grass. It does. Smell this, it smells like grass. When you first roast it, it lets off a lot of carbon dioxide, so store it in a loose container like a folded paper bag, and then in a sealed paper bag with a one-way valve for up to about 2 weeks before it goes bad. All freshly roasted coffee will have a date on the bottom, And I hope that this has encouraged you to roast your own coffee, and I look forward to hearing about your experiments later. And this is some fresh coffee to look at too. Thank you.